Hey everyone, welcome to another Reality Skewed Gamers stream. I am Finity, and this is one of our special lunchtime streams. I used to do more of these, but it became a little bit hard with kind of real life getting in the way. But we have some time today. There's a few things going on in the community, so I figured, may as well just go ahead and give this a shot. So hope you guys are able to join us. If not, you'll be able to catch up on all this stuff everyone. Later. Welcome. Oops. And if you guys are on the RSG Discord, you guys can go ahead and message me if you want to join the chat. We are doing the voice chat in Discord today, just to make it a little bit easier than having to do Skype. So you guys, if you want, are welcome to join there as well. So I think what we're just going to do is go ahead and discuss some of the different rumors that have been going around. And one thing that I'll show you guys first, I am wearing my special RSG hoodie. So if you guys haven't seen it, it's on Zazzle.com. The link is in the description of the video here. I love this RSG hoodie. It's really comfy. So I'm going to wear it every time I do a stream now. Just to get that out of the way. If you guys have questions, you can go ahead and post them in chat. I'm going to try and follow along here. Aliboba and the 40 Rebels is asking, does Grande have his keys? Yes. Grande did manage to get his keys from his office. If you're not sure what we're talking about, yesterday on the Wednesday stream, Grande was unable to get into his office because he left his keys. But he was able to get his keys. Sanely Red asks, did you hear about the rumor of Darth Plagueis? It's not a rumor RSG would tell you. So we kind of went into that a little bit yesterday, but we didn't go into it fully. So that is one of the rumors that is going around. I don't necessarily think that it's a bad rumor per se. So one of the issues, I guess, is that in one of the content updates, there was a quote by Emperor Palpatine as he was talking to Anakin. And the quote was actually regarding Darth Plagueis. So suspicion was either that quote has something to do with Emperor Palpatine getting a rework, potentially a new Emperor Palpatine, such as a Chancellor Palpatine, or it could have been a Vader. Now, the other option is that it could be Darth Plagueis. If you remember from last February, which is what Cozy hinted at, then the last February was when Nihilus came out. So it's possible that Darth Plagueis is who it is referring to. I do not believe it is Darth Plagueis, but then again, when they showed the fulcrum symbol from Rebels, I thought it was not going to be Fulcrum Ahsoka because it was the red color that was used in the scene with Thrawn and all that kind of stuff. So I thought it was going to be, what's his name? Kallus. I thought it was going to be Agent Kallus because he had that little red icon that Cozy used in the animated GIF during that period, but it turned out to be Fulcrum Ahsoka, who was actually Fulcrum. It was just a big confusion. So it's possible it is Darth Plagueis. I don't believe it is, though. But it is one of the theories going around. I think based on the character of the month being Sith Assassin, it's probably more likely to be both an Emperor Palpatine as well as a Vader rework. So Keyboard is asking, how many of the rumors do you think are true? Okay, so what I like to do is look at the game and try and figure out logically whether or not this is something that is possible, right? So the first thing, let's go through some of the more common rumors. There's some fake ones out there, obviously, such as Darth Jar Jar and all that kind of stuff. Looking at the ones that are more likely than not. First one is going to be an Emperor Palpatine rework. I think Emperor Palpatine rework is going to be likely. He needs something, right? He's a legendary character that's fairly weak. He had a very short time period in the meta, was quickly countered by a lot of different characters, actually. So he was very short-lived, and considering his status in Star Wars, you would think that he would be a better character. If you go into Palpatine's character, you'll see that his unique is level 7, his leader is level 7, everything else is level 8. So he already has 5 abilities, and he has 2 abilities at level 7. So it would not surprise me if Emperor Palpatine got, not necessarily a rework, but a Zeta addition to his leader and his unique. So that would be what I would be on the lookout for in particular from that post, from the game update. So I think any rumor that's talking about an Emperor Palpatine addition of a Zeta is probably on point. And Sith Lord, I know you're asking to hop on the chat. Just join one of the general channels, and then I can pull you into the live stream channel. If you're not in one of the channels, I can't add you. And same for the rest of you guys. If you want to join me in voice, go on to the RSG Discord. The link is in the video description. Hop onto either of the General 1 or General 2 channels for voice chat, and then I'll drag you into the live stream. So, looking at some of the other potential rumors, a new Palpatine, such as a Chancellor Palpatine. It's possible they're going to introduce a new Palpatine. I think we all would agree that dark side characters are not... We need more dark side characters in the game. And so, with the lack of dark side characters, it wouldn't be surprising to see a new Palpatine into the game. Now, is this the right time for another Palpatine? Probably not. I don't see another Palpatine really having kind of a position in the game at this point. So I would not suspect that a Chancellor Palpatine is coming to the game. He may be coming in the future as another version. We already know we have like 4 Han Solos, and there's probably going to be a 5th version with the new movie coming out. So Chancellor Palpatine, I do not think is a rumor that would actually be true. The next one would be, and hi Sith Lord, and hi Darth Plagueis. Can you guys hear me okay? You guys aren't saying anything, so. That is... Hold on. I know why. I am muted on Discord for some reason. It's not letting me unmute. Give me a second here. So, in the meantime, for the rest of you guys, while I'm getting my Discord straightened out, Vader. So, Vader is almost definitely going to get something with this new stuff. Alright, now can you hear me? Can you guys hear me okay now? Darth Plagueis and Darth Plagueis.
Now I can hear you.
Alright, there we go. My Discord was stuck on mute for some reason, so. Alright, so how are you guys doing today?
Fine. How are you, Doodle?
I am doing good. So, I've been going through these. Basically, I think a Palpatine Zeta edition is probably coming. A new Palpatine is probably not coming. Next thing would be a potential Vader rework. Now, a rework is possible. I think Vader right now is somewhat underwhelming. The more likely, not likely, but I guess another possibility is that he only has 4 abilities right now. So it is quite possible that they will add a 5th that would be a unique. Whether or not that unique is enough to make Vader good is the major question. Will he get a rework in addition with the Zeta edition, or will he just get the Zeta edition? I think either way, we can expect to see a 5th ability on Vader, one that will require a Zeta. Hopefully it'll be something pretty useful. Whether or not there's a rework, well, let me ask you guys. Sith Lord, what do you think about the Vader rework? Do you think it's going to be a rework, just a Zeta edition? What are your thoughts?
I think they'll add a unique, and then pop Zeta on that.
So no other rework to his special or anything like that?
I don't know. Can they do one?
They could rework him, yeah.
Didn't they make one on his AOE?
So he has his AOE. It doesn't have a Zeta, but it's his leader ability got the Zeta that allowed you to keep the dots on the character. But if his abilities aren't good, then you could always they could always rework him if they think his kit is underwhelming. Even though they already put a Zeta on his leader ability. What do you think, Darth Hideous? I can't hear you if you're saying anything. You still there, Darth Hideous? Guess.
Absolutely.
There we go.
My theories on this is I think the whole thing is going majority towards Emperor Palpatine, and I think when they do a rework for Vader, whether they just add a Zeta or they rework his whole kit, they're gonna have to work it in with Palpatine. And I think with whatever they do with Palpatine, it's going to be extremely viable.
Yeah, I would tend to agree. I think we haven't had... Jedi Rey caused a little bit, but there really hasn't been much of a shakeup in the arena meta since Night Sisters. So I would hope that Palpatine and Vader come in with a duo combo that would kind of shake up the arena meta a little bit. So I agree with you there.
That's what the super hopeful part of me is believing right now.
Well, I am with you there with the super hopeful part. I think they pretty much have to, right? If you look at just the general lore behind Star Wars, to have Emperor Palpatine and Vader kind of being considered discarded characters kind of makes you feel a little dirty inside. I mean, it's not like they're two of the most powerful characters in Star Wars.
It's not canon at all.
Yeah. So hopefully they do address that, because they are some of the characters that people really love in this game. So next rumor is regarding Vader. Not a rework, but there was a rumor about a potential journey for Vader. And the journey would include, let me see if I can pull that up here. So the journey for Vader would include Jedi Knight Anakin, Ahsoka Tano, Senator Padme Amidala, Captain Rex, and R2-D2. And Padme would be released before the event, essentially, so she would be released in a marquee event. She would probably go through the normal cadence, and then there would be some kind of Vader event. There was in SWGOH.GG before, when I checked earlier it wasn't there anymore, an entry for a Geonosian Padme. Potentially, they had kind of a setup in the game somewhere for it already. So with that, it wouldn't be surprising for me to see a Padme. I don't think there's going to be a downfall journey for Vader coming this month. What do you guys think, Sith Lord?
Nor do I, because didn't they say that there are going to be heroes' journeys?
Well, so that would be it, right? So the idea was that it was going to be a journey, yeah. That Vader could come in a journey event requiring those 5 characters and holding true to form. One of them is R2-D2, which is a legendary. So do you think there is going to be a Vader journey? Not just a
legendary, but a legendary that has already been used in a previous journey. So I don't see that being the thing.
But so I don't necessarily think that is a great reason, only because the whole journey concept is fairly new. So I mean, I'm sure at some point there is going to be overlap of characters. We see that already in Legendaries, with Phoenix being able to do Thrawn and Palpatine, right? Before Thrawn, no character was able to be used in 2 different areas. Now Phoenix can be. So eventually you end up with just a volume of characters that you will probably just have overlap. There isn't any other Legendary that really fits with Anakin unless they somehow introduce like a Legendary C-3PO, which I seriously doubt. So I don't know if that's
necessarily the reason. People doubted R2-D2 before he came into the game too.
Yeah, they definitely did. So
and now with Hermit Yoda being in the game, like a non-attacking support character is completely viable.
Yes, I guess it depends. It would depend on his kit, obviously. And yeah, so I can see a C-3PO coming. You would think though that R2 would be related to Anakin as he moves to become Vader, right?
Being the maker, you know, you would think that that would be the reasonable thing.
Yeah. But it's a hard one to swallow, that one, that there is going to be a villain's journey instead of a hero's journey with Vader. I don't think it's a bad idea. I just don't think it's coming right now. Now doesn't seem like the best time for an event like that. So I think it's more on Palpatine and Vader getting reworks or additional abilities, more so than a new Vader and a new Palpatine. So at least those are some of the rumors. We addressed Darth Plagueis a little bit. It's possible that he's going to be coming in, but I think it's hinting more at Palpatine and Vader. Jedi Wizard asks, which two KOTOR characters are we getting to finish possible Revan event later this year? So the rumor, again, was that it would be Sith Assassin, Sith Trooper, and then from the light side, as the thought was that Revan would be the first light side and dark side character, would include Jedi Consular and Jedi Knight Guardian. Just as generic characters on both the light side and the dark side from the game, and then HK-47 as his buddy. So those were the theorized 5 for Revan. There was the additional 6, the potentially Nihilus, because of his relationship with the whole Legends canon. I think that might be an oxymoron there, but just the whole Legends, story behind everything. So those were the 6 characters that came up. It's possible they include other characters, but just based on the rumors, those were the 5 characters. Let's see. Ali Boba and the 40 Rebels asks, let's make an exercise. We got 3 Sith characters last year. Which 3 non-OP Sith characters would you like to see if they could do the same last year? So, what 3 characters Sith do you think they should add into the game? And
Darth Bane.
Okay. I do like Darth Bane.
That's my 100% answer every time. Like everyone's talking about Revan this, Revan that. Let me get Darth Bane, please.
What about you, Sith?
As Granger would say, take my money.
Of course. Any other ones you would want? I mean, I would go with like the whole grouping there. So Darth Bane, Darth Malgus, Darth Malak. Darth Plagueis would be cool, but I don't know a lot about his history, to be honest, minus the story that Palpatine keeps telling. So I don't know the full story of Darth Plagueis the Wise, but I think Plagueis could be an interesting addition, the one that I would need to learn a little bit more about, to be honest. But I think those would be some pretty cool additions if they add it. But the problem is they're going straight into like the whole Legends aspect of it. If you look, trying to think what else you could add on the Sith. I would rather just have a rework of some of the current characters. There are a lot of Sith.
I just don't see any Legends characters coming in right now, like you said, with the cadence of The Last Jedi being what it is. Like, a rework on what we have right now would be viable, but as far as introduction of new characters, I think they're going to hold that to shit from the new movie.
Yeah. I really want the Praetorian Guards. I think a really cool concept would be that everyone gets a single Praetorian Guard, but you can kind of customize your own one's graphic based on whichever weapon you want. So you go through some event, And then at the end of it, you can activate Praetorian Guard, and you have to pick the weapon just for the animations. I think that would be pretty cool just to see what everybody picks. The kit can be exactly the same, so there doesn't have to necessarily be a difference on that front. But just different skins and stuff would be just a cool addition to the game.
But wouldn't all 4 Praetorian Guards with all their different weapons be more fun?
It would be, except I don't know if they're going to... There's so little differentiation between how you title them. Like, just look at the Jawas. They have to, like, call one Jawa Engineer, Jawa Scavenger, and stuff. I don't know what you would call 4 different Praetorian Guards. Praetorian Guard with spear, Praetorian Guard with sword. That's the only reason why they're, like, super generic.
What they could do is legitimately just call them all Praetorian Guard, but give them different tank, support, attacker based on what they're doing, what their kit is. Like, their weapon could be associated with their tag of their utility.
Yeah, that could be interesting. I worry about the animations too. I hate trying to figure out what the different Jawas are and what the different Geonosians are. I don't need another faction where I can't tell them apart from their portraits. So maybe that side of me just wants one Praetorian Guard for that reason. So,
but the game is going to do what it does.
Yes, I know. Tits thinks I'm trying to torture her with theories. I'm not. I'm trying to put the theories in context for everyone. So it's to discuss what everybody is probably hearing and what you should actually do about it, and what's probably more realistic than the other stuff. Going to the Revan stuff.
Making the theories and the rumors make sense right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, some do, some don't, right? The Revan one, for example, the statement that came out to the Game Changers left it open for Revan to still come this month. Do I think Revan is coming this month? No. Essentially, for me, before the cozy posts in the forums, my thought process was there was probably like 5% or less that Revan is coming into the game. Then there was the post by Cozy that basically like intimated that something's going to happen based on what February was. And if you go to any of the February posts, the first thing was like a big Darth Nihilus. So my thought that Revan may be coming kind of went up to maybe about 50-50 at that point. Still not convinced, but I was much more willing to accept Revan based on the fact that Nihilus came out in February and she kind of pointed to that. Then the CG statement. Even though it doesn't exclude Revan from coming out this month, it actually more excludes Revan from coming out next month more than anything. I don't think it's going to be Revan this year. Not this year, this month.
I really think as the troll extraordinaire, you should know better than anyone when somebody is trolling people, and I think that's what Cozy was doing, was just trolling the community because the hype was so large.
So that was my theory too, and if her goal was to troll, I had 0 issues. She did not post anything incorrectly, but she did know, I'm sure she did if she was the community manager and seeing what the posts and everything were in that thread. She knew that people were hoping for Revan. So she made a post that didn't say anything about Revan, but kind of led people to that conclusion. The only thing that bothered me was that they did not put out a statement. They put out a statement to the Game Changers to relay that information. That's the only part that really disappointed me more than anything. If you troll, you can troll, but then if things go sour, you have to kind of own up to it. I haven't seen any ownership from the part of EA or CG.
That is absolutely the truth.
So that was my only negative from that. I mean, the fact that she trolled, I don't have an issue with. It's amusing to me. I think some people get annoyed with the whole animated GIF responses and stuff. But for me, it doesn't really bother me. It's just when things happen that way and you do lead people down a path that maybe you know that they're getting too hyped and you have to stop it. Honestly, they had to stop the whole Revan rumor because it was spinning out of control.
I can't follow.
What was that?
Yeah, you own that shit yourself. Do not pass that on to the Game Changers to deliver your message. Y'all messed up. Own it. Like y'all sparked something that was too big and it became a wildfire. Let it go, but buy it yourself.
All right. So let's see. We have. I'm trying to go through all the questions here. So, Mad Dad is asking, do we have some new information? We don't really have any new information. It's just still more rumors. And there are a lot of people that are trying to make up rumors now just to see how far it can spread. So people are getting really confused about what's going to happen. So we're just trying to... Most of the time, CG is actually pretty good about giving us hints in the game in order for us to kind of get maybe a brief idea about something, not specifics. So that's the only thing I would look at. And so when you see a rumor, see if it makes sense in the context of the game, and that's essentially what we're discussing here. Addix Mathma is asking, if CG reworked Vader, do you think they would nerf the Wampa team? It's an interesting question. So for those of you that haven't seen, the Wampa Vader combo just kind of wrecks heroic AAT right now. You do need really good gear and speed bumps.
Rework taking anything away from Vader. I see any reworks going to Vader, adding to Vader, not subtracting. And everything the Wampa team does is based on what Vader does. So I don't see that. I don't see that being a thing.
Okay. Yeah. I don't think so. I mean, I don't see anything happening to Vader. I'm wondering if they'll do anything to Wampa. But they can't do anything to his Zeta, because his Zeta's already in there. They can't nerf it. There was like the whole Barriss thing, but Barriss was more honest. They claimed it to be more of an adjustment, more than it was like a rework, although people were so mad after the Barriss rework, or the Barriss Zeta change. I don't see them trying to do more of a Zeta change, and Heroic AAT has been around to the point where I don't think they're necessarily mind the option of anyone soloing Heroic AAT at this point. Not to mention the fact that Wampa is not an easily accessible character. He's only gotten through guild event tokens, which means that the likelihood that anyone that's at a lower level that is able to get a 7-star Wampa is not going to be very quickly, because they just won't collect the shards. The lower the GP guild you're in, the less guild event tokens you're going to get from territory battles. So I don't suspect that they're going to nerf that. I don't think it's as big a problem as, for example, the Nutini team, because those ones were very easily accessible characters. You could keep them low level and just do a lot of damage. This one is all high level characters. Vader is a long farm. Wampa is definitely a long farm. They do need gear, they do need speed in order to pull this off. So I don't suspect that there's going to be any nerf to either of them. Whether or not they rework Vader and it changes his whole ability with Wampa, I don't know. I don't think that they're going to keep the Wampa part in consideration, because at this point in the game, I don't think there's any detriment to having that combo soloing AAT. Let's see.
People thought they were going to nerf Vader when they found out he could solo the pit.
Mm-hmm.
But happened. So
and then Commander Luke came out.
Why would they nerf that? They're just going to introduce a new raid.
Mm-hmm. Well, I hope not. God, the raid, the problem with raids is the tickets.
Hybrid raids with ships, so you can't solo it at all.
Yeah, I mean, the problem with the raids is mainly just the ticket aspect. So I don't know how they would do it. They might just do it like another 60,000 for like another ship raid, for example. But essentially what happens is that with 60,000 per heroic AAT, for heroic Rancor, right? You really have only about 3 days, well, actually 2 days, that you cannot raid. Assuming you're in a 30,000 guild that's getting their 600s every day. You can store up tokens, but really as soon as you hit 120,000, you have to start spending it. It doesn't leave you much time in between. Unlike Heroic AAT is less because you need 90,000. So you can't really leave off too much time in between. It takes 3 days to accumulate those. I don't know how they're going to set up raid tickets. Maybe it's another 60,000, but I think they're going to overcrowd the raids a little bit, having to do multiple raids on the same day. I think the schedule for territory battles is already draining on people, having to be on every day, especially light side, which is, I think, the better of the two territory battles, but 6 waves per mission, 4 missions essentially every day. I think it's going to take their toll. It's going to take a toll on players if they don't find another way to do the raids. So that's just my thought.
Get ready for Do You 1000.
Let's see.
That seems to be the only way to make it even viable, is to add more raid tickets to the game. And if you're gonna do a third raid, you have to have more tickets, because with what they have now, like, you can't do a pit, HAAT, and a new raid. You have to add more tickets, or you're screwed on all the other.
Well, the other thing they could do is, you know how we have our challenges and everything, where we have a number of attempts per day. They could easily just reset everyone's attempts per week and let guilds figure it out on their own. So just kind of drop this whole raid ticket stuff. Maybe
Just
you can use it for something.
Cumulative tickets, and let the guilds decide what they want to spend their tickets on.
Exactly. So at the end of the week, it'll calculate however many tickets you gathered for that week. At the end of the week, based on what your guild totals are, it generates how many attempts of the raid you get the following week. And then your guild can figure out, okay, we have 4 attempts for AAT. Maybe we'll just knock all of them out in one day or something like that. Or they can space it out or however they want. But I think that would provide a little bit more flexibility than the forced raid ticket if you just get a week.
That's asking a lot, Finity. You know that, right?
Well, it's using a system that's, I mean, yes, it is. It's changing the entire raid ticket system. But I think that's better than introducing another raid in particular. If they introduce it in a different form, right? Territory battles was a different thing entirely. If they introduce another form for the ship battles rather than like a ship raid, then they wouldn't have to do it.
Now, if they introduce like a ship raid and a ship raid tickets, like its own group of tickets, that'd be a different story, right?
Yeah, that could. I mean, it would have its own ticket, just like AAT has its own and the Rancor has its own. It's mainly just the timing aspect. How many days do you have to start spreading these apart? Because every 2 days you generate an heroic AAT raid. Every 3 days you generate a heroic... every 2 days you generate Rancor. Every 3 days you'll generate heroic AAT. How are you doing your ships? Are you going to be generating another 2? Every 2 days you're going to be generating it. So now every day you have heroic AAT, then you have a ship, then you have an AAT, but then you might have to overlap it with a Rancor, then you have another day. Like, you're not leaving any time for anything when you introduce a third raid. And I think you're going to cause major burnout if you do that.
This is not the time off you're looking for.
Keyboard asks, do you think that C-3PO could be added to the game? Yes. I would be surprised if he wasn't added to the game unless the game kind of came to an end. But otherwise, I would suspect that he is.
What would he do? Translate Ewok attacks?
Actually,
yes. He speaks 6 million languages. How could you not have him in the game?
I think if he was in the game, my guess is that he is going to be a leader with an Ewok synergy, similar to Hermit Yoda with no attacking basic. I think he's going to be kind of a
him as a support rebel with no leader ability and 3 uniques.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's what he would be, with a synergy with Ewoks as a lead, and maybe rebels as well, since that's who he was hanging out with. So rebel Ewok synergy.
Agreed.
Let's see, what else do we have?
But we are talking about like 4 different versions of C3PO. So which version of C3PO are they addressing?
Red Arm. We
Because
need
that'll
Red Arm C3PO. That's all that
what
matters.
synergy we have.
Red Arm C3PO. That's it. Case closed. Let's see. A lot of people. I didn't really do shout outs today, but I see people. Hi Shills. Let's see if I can go through this. Ali Boba, Vito Anto, Sanely Red, Sith Lord, Darth Hideous, who's here, Keyboard, Ten Bears, Ouchie Dumpling, Addix Mathma, The Tor, Silverbolt, Jedi Wizard. See, going through this. Raza972, Captain Blackbeard, Paul Morgan, Swuggo Mad Dad, and let's see, Joseph Dinya III, Alex Minette, Percival, Kagaru, Dylan Rose, Artorius Draknight, and a lot of you are on for a lunchtime stream. That's awesome. Jedi Gunny 262, Corey Dahlmeyer, D-Lord Dragos, Silverbolt, Shills Ghost, Thane Kyrell, and Bad Horse C1. Let's see, I think we got... Oh, that's an interesting one. Lungu Fambine. So he's asking, I think this is going back to when we were talking about Revan. So did you just blame CG for a rumor that the community started? I do not blame them for the rumor. I blame them for fueling the rumor. So there's two different parts, right?
I don't blame CG for the rumor. I don't blame anyone from CG for fueling the rumor. If anyone bought into it, haha, jackass.
Yeah. So maybe blame isn't the right word. They didn't start the rumor, right? But the fire was already lit. They threw gas onto the fire.
They might have thrown gas and some logs on it, but
and they got to the point where they couldn't control it, right? For whatever reason, they threw a little bit of gas onto the fire. They couldn't control it. And to make sure that it didn't spread, they were getting ready to put it out. But instead of coming themselves and putting it out because they threw gas on the fire, they told the Game Changers to come and pour water on it.
Yeah, that was bad.
Yes. So that's essentially how I'm looking at it. It's not that they did anything wrong. I mean, feel free to, if they want to, they're ready to troll. I mean, trolling is essentially pouring fuel on the fire. That's what you do. So I don't have any issue with the fact that they did it. It just happened to start to grow a little bit out of control. The rumors spread way too heavily. And I don't know if it was or wasn't Cozy's intention, but when you make a post that generic and you just put a whistle and you move away and stuff, like you're trolling. It's what she did. I don't have any issue.
Nobody from RSG got a special email from the EA team, right?
Yeah, the Game Changers all did. Yeah, Arnold is the one that made the video, but I think all the Game Changers got it with a specific quote.
Yeah, I thought Arnold made a video and Warrior made a video, and I've seen on a couple of Game Changer videos. There's no Game Changers in RSG. That seems like a gross oversight.
No, it's okay. We're troublemakers, so that's why. So Arnold was the first one that put it out. Like, he made a video, I think, almost immediately after he got the email. I saw Warrior. Warrior also put out the comment, but I think it was the next day, and he incorporated it with some of the other content that was potentially coming out too. So, but yeah, there were other Game Changers that did it. Arnold would just happen to be, I think, the first one that made a post about it. But it's not that they created the rumors are created by the players. The players are the ones that believe the rumors, all that kind of stuff. But the developers are well aware that everybody looks for anything they say in order to get hints about this game. Especially if you're a free-to-play player, you're always trying to jump on those hints. So you listen, and the ones that are really involved in the community, especially when a dev goes on to a podcast, for example, and even hints about Night Sisters, like, everybody jumps at Night Sisters, right? They can come out later and say, yeah, we're not really doing anything with Night Sisters, and then a couple months later, Night Sisters pop up. But players, especially free-to-play, are always looking for that little bit of an advantage for a jump start. So essentially what happened, the rumors started because of other people. I think originally what started this was the, I don't want to say it's a leak, but it was from the McMull post where a lot of the stuff was correct so far and the predictions that he made. One of the things was Revan was expected to come in, I think it said February to March if I remember correctly. So that was already laid there. People were already then spreading the rumors about Sith Assassin and Sith Trooper, all on the player side. And then Cozy made the post where she just said, I wonder what we did last February, and then whistled. And if you go to any of the February content posts, it's Nihilus. She knew very well that the rumors of Revan were already spreading, and if she didn't, then that would be kind of sad as a community manager. So, especially since like half the posts on the forums, like the last couple days before she posted that, were about Revan. So, I'm going to take it that I'm going to assume that she knew. She made that post. Whether intentionally or unintentionally, it did end up trolling all of the players. They jumped on it as a hint. They went to thinking it was Revan. The Revan rumors started spreading out of control, so they had to try and put a pause on that, because if it got to the point where Revan, like I said, I went to about 50%, just because her post seemed to hint at something really big coming, seemed like Revan made sense based on Nihilus last February, so I went up to about 50%. If it got to the point where the rumors just kind of spiraled out of control and people were at about like a 90% belief that Revan was coming, and then Revan did not come, there would be a huge disappointment within the community, to the point where you would lose people just for the fact that there was that disappointment. They would feel misled. So CG, in a sense, mainly because of player insanity, to be honest, and their own the fact that they're wrapped up in their own Revan rumors, got to the point where it was spiraling out of control. They wanted to put a stop to it, which is fine. It's just they didn't do it, and it was fueled by the Cozy post, which may not have been intended in that particular way. But the fact that it fueled the rumors, they should have just came out and said, Revan is... They could have put out their own statement. Revan is not coming. We have the Game Changers coming. Revan is not there. But again, that statement that they put out still has a lot of loopholes in it. Revan could come out this month, and that statement that they gave the Game Changers would be true. I don't think it's going to be Revan, but there are some loopholes in that statement. So, just to throw that out there.
I agree with you, Affinity. Revan doesn't make sense considering where we are with the timeline of the cadence of what's being released. But I do believe that, yeah, he's coming in his time.
Yeah.
But I think they should have just held with the trolling and not released anything. Just trolled on and let people believe what they believe, and the game is going to be what it is. Mm-hmm. You're going to love it. You're going to hate it.
No, I like the trolling. I like the trolling stuff. I don't mind the trolling stuff. It's the players that do it themselves.
I know. You and me both. Like we both thought it incredibly amusing, but either commit to your trolling 100%, or like don't do it at all. But don't.
No, I think Cozy's committed to the trolling.
Somebody else and be like, "Oh, we fucked up." But
yeah, I think that was the bad part. Cozy is committed to trolling. I don't think Cozy has any issue with trolling player bases. I think it's just, the only problem is that it kind of got out of control, and I think they were just looking for a quick solution, and maybe the easiest way was to get it through the Game Changers as well. But I wish they would have put out their own statement as well, just saying the exact same thing, but in their own words. And I think that would have made everything a little bit better. It would have gone around.
Would have been better business, right?
Mm-hmm. It would have been. Let's see. So one of the questions was, so what do you think we will need with all so we have all these rumors and everything. What do you think is, what should we do? What should we farm? All that kind of stuff. General rule with all of the rumors: if you are going to follow a rumor, you have to look at your roster and see, will doing this set my roster back? Most of the rumors are usually not worth it, depending on where you are. If you're at the point where I can say my roster is, I'm at the point where I can chase after one of these rumors and I have other characters so I don't need to worry about anything. Arena should always still be your priority. Fleet Arena would be a good thing. But in general, do not farm anything for a rumor unless you are at the point where you can say, okay, well, these are either one, characters I don't need and I don't really have anything else to farm, so why not? Or two, oh, well, this is for a rumor, but these are really useful characters anyways. So, with that, Sith Assassin is the character of the month. I would farm Sith Assassin. Keep track of how many shards it is that you get from your daily rewards. I believe it's 30 at the end of this. Let's see. So 1, 2,
30 is the correct number. I added it up.
Right. So you get 30 shards at the end of this. Sith Assassin is gotten from a high of 16 energy Cantina node, as well as from the guild store. The reason I'm saying to get Sith Assassin, if there is a rework or an addition of Palpatine and Vader, right, Sith Assassin gives turn meter to all Sith. She is going to be a great character to supplement them in order to get them to go fast. Even if they don't have it, Sith Assassin is going to be super useful in territory wars because she can also help speed up your entire Sith team. So I would say work on your Sith Assassin, at least getting her up as far as you can. Make sure you're planning for those 30 shards that you're going to get for free. We don't know when anything is going to drop, so just kind of keep that in mind. But I would say Sith Assassin is a good character to have. It does match up with the Revan rumor if you want to plan that. The next thing is going to be Sith Trooper. Sith Trooper is another good character. In a Sith team, he's useful. He's limited a little bit outside of your Sith team. He's not a bad character necessarily. This one is a little bit more questionable on if you should farm him or not. He's a good taunter with the Sith team, but again, he's an expensive node, and you can still do a pretty good Sith team without Sith Trooper. So, Sith Trooper, I would put kind of on the fence as to whether or not you should farm him, unless you are planning to use him for a team, or if you're going to be on the fence with him. So, the next thing is going to be...
I will say this, on top of what Finity says, Sith Trooper is the best Sith tank in the game.
Yes.
He's the only Sith tank.
That is true.
Actually, is SWGOH a tank?
Is he classified? I think he's classified as an attacker, but he is super tanky.
Oh, Sith Trooper is a tank. Like,
no, I know. He was asking if SWGOH was considered a tank too, but he's just an attacker.
Oh, SWGOH is an attacker, yeah. He's a tank.
Now, another...
Like Vader.
Yeah, another character who is not part of the rumors directly, but I think a character that you should work on if you do not have him is Darth Maul. There is no guarantee that the Emperor Palpatine leader is going to be 100% necessary. Case in point is going to be Commander Luke. Commander Luke has a Zeta leader ability, but his strongest attribute is that he can be played in lead position or even out of lead position. So you may not be putting the Zeta on Emperor Palpatine. So what I would suggest is you work on your Darth Maul. Like most things in the game right now, everything is going to be based on speed. With speed, Darth Maul's lead ability helps you gain turn meter off the bat, right? So you automatically gain 20% turn meter once you Zeta, because they're all going to be stealth and at the start of the encounter. So if you have a Zeta Maul, then you have increased turn meter right off the bat. You add Sith Assassin, and then you can add Palpatine and Vader, and now you're speeding up Palpatine and Vader. So one thing to just kind of, if you're theory crafting a little bit and looking at things, I think both Maul and Sith Assassin are good characters to work on if you have not already started them. Again, depends on where you are on your roster, but if you're looking for good characters, potentially can help with some of the content coming down the line, and also trying to work a little bit with the rumors, I would go with Sith Assassin and Darth Maul as the two characters. The other rumor that's been going around is also about new capital ships. I think we can agree that we all need more ships in the game, especially if they want to increase ship content. So, if you're going to increase ship content, then you need to increase not only just the ships, you need a lot of just regular ships, but you'll also want to make sure that you have the capital ships in order to get even more ships, because the capital ships ends up kind of being the limiting factor on how many ships you can add, right? Each one can only hold 9 ships, 5 in the main, 4 in the reinforcement. So for every ship, you need 9 other ships. Hopefully it's going to be another capital ship in order to allow for another 9 ships to come in. So with that, let's go to the capital ships here. And one thing I want to show you guys, and this was one of the things that Ouchie mentioned in the stream, and then, or not in the stream, in the Discord, and then I got to kind of looking at it in order to make sense of it. So if you look at Resistance, we want to look at Resistance and First Order, because they are the 2 current factions that are probably going to get the most love because of the movie. Right now we have 3 Resistance ships. I don't think there's going to be any other Resistance ships right now. They have other Resistance characters, but they haven't really made much of it. The one exception is going to be...
ships? Am I missing something? We have 3 Resistance ships?
Yes.
I think we have 3 First Order ships. I don't think...
No, we have 4 First Order ships and 3 Resistance ships.
It's the Resistance pilot,
Poe, and then the Millennium Falcon.
And, yeah.
Oh, yeah, the Millennium Falcon. I always forget about that because that's one of those ships I will probably never have.
Yeah, so we have 3 Resistance ships. In order to do any kind of battle for that, we would need 5. So it looks like we still have a little bit of ways for the Resistance ships to be utilized. I would still work on Millennium Falcon and farm that hard node, because it is very likely to me that at some point we're going to need the Resistance ships for something, particularly like a Snoke capital ship. Maybe not now, maybe at the release of the next movie, but the Millennium Falcon is a single hard node farm, so it's going to take a while. I would work on your Millennium Falcon right now. The other one, though, is going to be your First Order. With the release of First Order Special Forces and the TIE Silencer into free-to-play areas, we now have 4 First Order ships that are accessible. So one of the thinkings, especially with the release of Admiral Holdo, is that an Admiral Holdo capital ship that may require First Order ships in order to be used to get her is more likely now. All you need is 1 more First Order ship. We know that there's other characters that haven't been added yet, right? There is Hux, for example, that could potentially get a ship. We could potentially...
Revan.
What was that?
Revan.
Oh, Revan. Yes. Revan could get a First Order ship.
Well, to get Thrawn, you needed Home 1, a Rebel ship to get, and 5 other Rebel ships?
Yeah.
To get Thrawn?
Mm-hmm.
So, if they follow that cadence, they will need a Resistance capital ship and 5 Resistance ships to get, or a First Order capital ship and 5 First Order ships to get anything Resistance based.
Possibly. They may have an event where you don't need a capital ship if they haven't introduced one, right? So potentially you could have a Resistance capital ship that's gotten with just First Order, and then you need that capital ship in order to get like the Snoke legendary or some kind of chain like that. They can always modify it, especially if I'm trying to remember which one it is. I think it's the Home 1 event. If I remember correctly, it's 3 waves, and the first 2 don't even have a capital ship listed there. It's only the last wave where the other capital ship comes and then you fight it. So there are ways that they could do it without needing all of the capital ships. But the fact that there are 4 First Order ships does kind of mean to me that there is maybe something coming down the line requiring First Order ships. especially with the introduction of Holdo, who, outside of being a captain, isn't an integral character, really.
Off the top of your head?
So I think she might have a really cool ability. She has so her ultimate ability, that one that starts on cooldown, will stun every single ship in the game, including the capital ship, for 1 turn. Something like that would be really cool. Like, you don't have to kill it necessarily, but even if you stun every ship, including the capital ship.
3 ability block for 3 turns on the enemy capital ship. Stun all enemy ships for 1 turn.
I think 3 turns on the capital ship would be too much, but...
Just ability block, so they'll still be able to do their basic, but stun
that would
all
suck.
the other ships for 1 turn and ability block the capital ship, the enemy's capital ships.
I wouldn't mind 1 turn. I think 3 turns is too much. I think it would just play out to just
the ones you love.
That's what you get for thinking.
But I think Holdo has a capital ship that may be pretty interesting, especially with the way that it was utilized at the end. So I would say consider working on your First Order ships. Me personally, in Guild Store, I am finishing off my Stark, and I'm farming specifically First Order Special Forces TIE Pilot. The fighter. Not the pilot, just the fighter. Because I want to get that ship to 7-star as soon as possible. Because if we require First Order ships for anything, there's only a limitation of 4. Versus, if you go to characters and you go to First Order, right? If you need First Order characters, unless they require specific characters, there are currently 8 different First Order characters. So you have more flexibility in using First Order characters more than you have First Order ships. So I would personally say, if you are at the point, again, that you don't need anything in specific, you're trying to plan ahead, I am farming First Order Special Forces TIE Fighter in order to try and max out my 4 First Order ships as soon as possible, because it seems like there is going to be an event requiring First Order ships at some point. There's probably going to be one that requires resistance as well, so I would continue farming a Millennium Falcon. But those are going to be the rumors that I would put any stock in, to be honest. Again, I don't think a Holdo ship is coming immediately. It seems suspicious the way that they release some of this new stuff. So those are just kind of my guesses.
A General Leia Organa ship before I would predict they give it to Hodor.
I don't think they're going to introduce anything with General Leia at this point. Half of the movie, she was basically in a coma.
Yeah, but this is Disney we're talking about, and they released some nonsense. So
Mary Poppins.
I'm just going to think Disney real quick and go with it.
Yeah, I think they're going to... My guess is that the next movie is going to be focused a lot more on Leia release. And also, I would suspect that there's going to be a Jedi Master Luke journey part as well. So that's, again, well down the line. Nothing I'm guessing about now, but I'm preparing my Hermit Yoda for that, as I'm sure he's going to be involved somewhere in the journey for Luke. So I think that covers everything. We're roughly at an hour.
Who else for the Jedi? Who else for the Jedi Luke journey? Have we nailed this one down yet?
We haven't. So I have my own theory about it. I think it's going to be... So Commander Luke is going to be one, because the journey will kind of feed on itself. So you'll need Commander Luke.
Reasonable.
Then R2-D2.
Hoth, Commander Han... Captain Han Solo and Rolo?
Yep. So Captain Han Solo, Rolo would be the other one. And then I would actually say both Hermit Yoda and Wampa. That's my guess. And my initial theory on what they would do...
Rolo, CHS, R2, and...
Lando.
Not Wampa.
See, I think it's going to be... So maybe this is just more me wanting it. I think it would be really cool if the first part of your Commander Luke journey for the next part is that you use your Wampa to capture the NPC Commander Luke. And so you use your Wampa, And you play it out like the movie. You go and you capture your Commander Luke, and that's pretty much the only thing you need him for. You just need the 7-star Wampa for the first part. Then the rest of it is all going to be the other characters. And then for the rest of it, it's all working through your Commander Luke journey part.
That definitely would make Jedi Luke's journey more interesting than anything we've seen so far, and it would break the cadence completely and make it much more wide open for anything in the future.
So that's why, and I had mentioned this before, like that's my theory on what's coming up with Luke. So I'm farming Hermit Yoda and Wampa with guild event tokens. Like everything is being spent on those characters until I can get them 7-star.
I think I said this on the stream last night. I really do hate it when you say stupid stuff that makes perfect sense.
I did change my farm a little bit though. I was going to take my Hermit Yoda to 7-star first, but instead I'm going to take my Wampa first because of the potential Vader rework and how Vader works with Wampa. So I switched over to getting my Wampa 7-star first. Even though Hermit Yoda is probably the more likely of the two that's going to be needed for Luke. So that's just one of the changes I made just based on the recent events. But it's still going to be a little bit of time.
Well, Wampa's also the more fun of the two characters anyway. Like, even if all this turns out to be nonsense and you just end up with a 7-star Wampa or a 7-star Hermit Yoda, who would you prefer? Like, Wampa's way more fun, right?
Well, a 7-star Hermit Yoda works really well under an Akbar lead too. I've seen some of those teams. It's actually pretty fun. So,
we need more light side.
Yes. Yes, what we need is more light side. All right. I think that's pretty much an hour here. So, with that, I want to thank all of you. We're up to 83 people watching. Wow. In the middle of the day on an unannounced stream. That's pretty awesome.
I'm sorry, folks.
So, thanks for everyone that came out. Again, there's a lot of rumors and stuff going around. If you come onto the RSG Discord, we talk about everything there. We have a really good community, so we can discuss not only stuff about the rumors, but anything that you need help with regarding your rosters and all that kind of stuff. If it's not myself or one of the other Reality Skewed gamers, Grande Patron, Ranger J1999, Sir Loki, or Tits McVenom, we have other people in the community that are always there to help as well. So please come on by. Make sure you hit the subscribe option for the video. Hit the little bell so you can get the notifications, so then you can join us for some of these. If you guys like these kind of lunchtime streams, please make a comment about it in the video. My schedule is clearing up a little bit. So, and I know for some people, I saw Bimasu. Bimasu's in Hawaii, and he wrote that it's not lunchtime, it's morning time for him. So it's your morning drive stream for you, Bimasu. But for the East Coast, which is where I am, which is when I'm doing it, it's during the lunchtime. If this is something you guys like, we can definitely try and do some more of these. Maybe schedule them a little bit more regularly rather than having impromptu ones. But we'll see how that goes. So please leave feedback in the comments. We do read it. We try to respond to all of them as much as we can. And so, because we really appreciate you guys watching it, and we've been, yesterday after our stream, we looked at our subscriber list and all that kind of stuff, and it's great to see how we've expanded, and it's all because of you guys' support. So thank you all very much for that. And I will be in the RSG Discord in just the text chat probably, because I have to start picking up work again here. So with that, thank you to Darth Hideous and Sith Lord for joining me. I am Finity with Reality Skewed Gamers, and until next time.